Alright, we got about 9 minutes left in practice. I'm going to try something out real quick here for a moment, see if this is going to work for future broadcasts. So unfortunately, I think it's going to have some background noise competition with the cars. So I'm not trying to fix that offhand here, unfortunately. Let's give this a try.
Drivers, welcome to Area 51 Racing League, brought to you by Green White Checker TV and our promotional producer, Roy Willard. We are a serious racing league with races brought to you 4 nights a week. Tuesday nights we feature the high-speed Indy cars on multiple tracks and a couple road courses thrown in. Wednesday nights we race the NASCAR 1987 Cup cars on multiple tracks and a couple super speedways thrown in. Thursday night is our premier series. We race the NASCAR Cup cars following the NASCAR schedule. Sunday nights we race the NASCAR Cup cars on super speedways alternating between Talladega and Daytona. The Super Speedway Series will be a paid series. It's $25 per person. Weekly payouts will be $15, $10, and $5. Also, the season champion will receive $150. These numbers are contingent on the number of registered drivers and are subject to change. Drivers who don't want to pay the entry fee can still race but will not share the winnings. All race seasons start at 6 p.m. Central Time with 1 hour practice followed by 5-minute qualifying, and then a green flag drops at 7:05. All races will be broadcasted by our partner Green White Checker TV. Area 51 League is a serious racing league who believes every driver should go into every race with his or her top priority being not to wreck their fellow competitor. Failure to abide by the Area 51 vision will result in removal from the league. League entry requirements are Class C 3.0 or higher and an I rating of 900 or higher. To join, visit our racing and look for Area 51 Racing League. We look forward to racing with each and every one of you and making some good friends along the way. See you in Season 5. Thanks.
Alright, so I think that actually worked pretty well there. Say, obviously didn't have the link below. However, again, easy way to get to it, of course, for is just if you look for the Area 51 Racing League, you can search for them on Facebook. Of course, you can also find them in the league pages of iRacing itself. So as we had a little introduction there to Bud Steele, he slid across through the pits there. So we got about 3.5 minutes left in practice, to say, before we get started here at Bristol. I'll say it's definitely going to be a handful tonight. You can definitely see a lot of drivers are trying to figure out how to tame this beast of a track. Again, top line is going to be the preferred line here this evening. So it's going to be definitely a challenge for these guys trying to figure out how and where to make passes happen and how to do them cleanly as well. So I'm going to step away again for just a few minutes. Say once I get going to in qualifying, we'll go over our point standings entering this evening's race, and then we'll go from there. Alright, qualifying here is underway at Bristol. So say while they start making their laps here, let's go over our point standings entering this event. So as you can see here right now, we've got the 67 Larry Yingling leading the points by 26 points over second place Ryan Kelly. In third is Levi Cox. So say those three are definitely the closest contenders at the moment. In fourth is Chad Wilkes, 54 out of the lead, and then in fifth is Maxwell Caldwell, 58 out of the lead. So then the remainder of the top 10 here, you have David Adamson, Brandon Clark, Jim Brooks, Robert Richards, and Jack Walls. Saying one thing to note is, so they were able to get the results for the North Wilkesboro race added. I say that was that race Levi Cox was able to pull off the win at. So now we do at least have the results for that race as well in the system. So as last week was race number 9 of 12, so tonight is race 10 of 12. So I say after tonight we have 2 more races. And saying those tracks are going to be Las Vegas and Charlotte. So I'll say definitely be a change in venues, if you will, say from Richmond and Bristol to Vegas and Charlotte. So it's going to be much faster action here at those 2 tracks in the following 2 weeks. And saying, so while these guys are putting down their qualifying laps here, also want to mention what their say obviously the qualifying position is important in its own right. However, there's also a little bit of a bonus here as well. So these guys are going to be all going after the Regal Pole Award. And so for those that aren't aware, Regal operates one of the largest and most geographically diverse theater circuits in the United States, consisting of 7,211 screens in 549 theaters in 42 states, along with America, Samoa, the District of Columbia, Guam, and Saipan. Regal believes that the size, reach, and quality of the company's theater circuit provides its patrons with a convenient and enjoyable movie-going experience. Regal is committed to being the best place to watch a movie, bar none. So again, I want to really thank Regal Cinemas for putting this on, having that $10 pull award for the drivers who are able to put that fastest lap down. It's a cool little bonus that you'll see, because a lot of drivers will actually not even worry about trying to put a lap down. They'll just try to maybe start in the back. So say adds a little bit of incentive there for sure. So I want to thank Regal again for putting that on for all the drivers here at Area 51 Racing League. So definitely want to thank you all for joining me tonight with Green White Checkered TV. So say tonight, obviously we have the 100 laps here at Bristol with the Cup Series. So say drivers are still making a few laps right now. On the pole is Levi Cox, the second place in the third place points man. Say I see right now the 67 Larry Yingling is on track, trying to put some laps down here as well. So we'll see if he's able to do anything there. And then haven't seen Ryan Kelly put down any laps yet as well in that 13 car. So we'll have to see if he's able to do something as well. So we'll let these guys finish up their laps here, and then we'll go over our starting grid and try to see if we can also get a chat in with our pole sitter. Say may not be able to get to it today. We'll definitely try to say just there's a lot to go over in a very short amount of time. All right, with that, looks like our pole sitter here is going to be the 14 of Levi Cox this evening. So let's go ahead and get a quick word with him before we go through our starting grid. So I'm pulling our pole sitter here, that number 14 of Levi Cox. Congrats on the pole. Say 15.004 second lap there. So obviously things going really quickly here at Bristol. So what's the plan here to try to survive 100 laps?
I don't know what the chances are, but we'll give it our best shot. Just stay off the wall and stay out front. Simple as that, really.
Have you made any attempts of trying to practice, trying to get underneath people and make passes? As I'm sure right now, obviously top's where you're going to want to be, but have you kind of felt out how that bottom middle groove is to if you do need to go down there?
I was doing that a little bit in practice. Like, I think if the speed difference is great enough, it's there and you can just send it off in there and slide up to the wall. But if you're pretty close on speed, I don't know if that'll work. I haven't really got to practice around anybody the same speed or whatever, so I'll have to figure that out as I go here. Hopefully don't lose the lead, though. That'd be the best thing to do.
All right, well, good luck this evening. Look forward to watching it, and I'll say I'll let you get going here.
Or have a good night.
All right, so that was our pole sitter there, number 14 of Levi Cox. Say while they get settled here, let's go ahead and go through our starting lineups. There we go. Alright, so on the pole position, number 14 of Levi Cox. Next to him is the 67 of Larry Yingling. In the third position there, you have Brandon Clark, and fourth, Kyle Hess. In row 3, you have the 17 of Chad Wilkes and the 64 of John Mullins. In row 4, you have Ryan Kelly here and Bud Steele in the 8th position. And then rounding out the top 10, you have Aaron Davidson and James Ledford. We'll go through the remainder of who made some laps there. So actually just one more, it looks like. So you got Roy Wheeler in the 11th position, or sorry, Maxwell Caldwell in the 11th position, Roy Wheeler in the 12th position. So pace car's about to jump off, so we'll get things going here. I'm going to put it into the hands of our race leader there, Levi Cox on the outside. Oh, Larry Yingling, you see, spun the tires right off the bat there. So let's see if he's able, looks like he's able to gather it back up. Looks, so everybody else looks all right. Probably a little bit of damage for some of those behind there with that. However, for the lead here, it looks like that 14 of Levi Cox is going to get pinned to the bottom here. You can see that 85 here, Brandon Clark's going to make a charge to the top side, able to get the lead. So they're going to have a little bit of a gap in front of the rest of the field here. Just with that little bit of a stack up with our second place starter there, the 67 Larry Yingling. Right now things are starting to spread out just a little bit. Okay, again, just started here. Again, 100 laps here at Bristol this evening. However, these laps go so quickly here. We're already on lap 4 of 100. Just barely got things rolling, but again, just everything happens so quick here. Right now things have settled a little bit in the front too. Definitely not the start that 14 was looking for. 85 is able to get to that top side and get the momentum going here. Behind that, this is the battle for the third position on back here. You see the 17 Chad Wilkes, Larry Yingling right there, 13 of Ryan Kelly, Aaron Davidson, Kyle Hess. They're all in this little group together. Right now it's kind of a conveyor belt to the top, on the top line here. We'll kind of try to see if we can get a far shot here, and you can just kind of see all the cars the way they're all staggered. You can see 67 going to try to kind of get a diamond in, entering the turn, see if he can make this pass happen or not. Doesn't look like, he's kind of equal right now to the 17 car, but It looks like he's going to have to try to really send it in deep to try to maybe clear him on the exit. As I said, he gets really loose, able to hang on to it here. That's going to cost him another spot here with that 67 and the 13 there, Ryan Kelly, and now the 03 as well of Aaron Davidson. You see everybody starting to move around a little bit. Saying the leaders right now have about a 3-second. Oh, right there, you saw a little bit of a moment there for the 03 as well. 13 of Ryan Kelly able to jump by the 17, get to that third spot. 67 still kind of fighting his way. He's kind of dropping back just a little bit right now. However, the leaders have about a full straightaway lead already on this third place group here. About a 3-second gap over that 13 of Ryan Kelly. So those two have definitely checked out at the moment. Good battle here with got Bud Steele here, and so it's shown as a 28 car, but I think that's actually the 64 of John Mullins. So they throw me off a little bit. Right behind them you have the 83 of Jack Walls. So the battle here is for the 9th position. See, pretty tight-knit group right here. Say this is around the 5th, 6th position here. Again, Chad Wilkes, Kyle Hess, and right behind them is Maxwell Caldwell. So these guys all pretty much all lockstep with each other right now. Again, I think right now they're just going to try to wait and kind of pounce on mistakes of other drivers as the run progresses here. So I'll say we'll jump around a little bit through the field here. So I saw the 39 here. Looks like he's in a little bit of a battle here with the 76 of Jim Brooks. You can see got a little bit tight there, had a wash up that opened the door for that 76 to try to take a look. Couldn't quite do it there. But so you can definitely see he's trying to see if he can make a way around there as the 007 gets a little bit loose on exit, opens the door there. I believe that was the 12 of Robert Richards, able to sneak around him. It also looks like Cody Cox was able to follow through as well there. Oh, you can see 39 catches the wall a little bit, able to keep it going here. And saying leaders already just went around their one car ready for a lap traffic, if you will, getting around that 45 of Paul Patterson. So definitely trying to they're putting down a really quick pace here right now, these leaders. Again, that lead now is grown to about 3.5 seconds over that 13 of Ryan Kelly. Right now the closest battle on track looks to be with the 67 here, Larry Yingling, and the 94 Maxwell Caldwell. This is for the 7th position. And see Larry just gets all over the back bumper of that 94 car. Just needs to try to find somewhere to take the car though. That's kind of proving the challenge right now, is again just how difficult it is to pass here at Bristol. They got a pretty good trend going on here as well, right? For the 10th spot on back. So you have John Mullins right here in the 28 with the actual 28 there behind him of Charles Johnson. But you can see right here just a line of cars right behind these two. A little bit of a tap there from Charles Johnson to the back of John Mullins there, able to keep it straight though. But you can see though you have Roy Wheeler in that mixed, James Ledford. Who else is in there? Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, Robert Richards, Cody Cox. So right now these guys are trying to see if they can find a way to make a way around here. However, I say they're going to have to start picking up the aggression a little bit, because those leaders are not even a straightaway behind at this point. You see Charles Johnson now. He gets the door open there, and that's going to let the 98 here of Roy Wheeler there get around. Now you can see Roy Wheeler's working on that 64 of John Mullins here in 3. So he's going to complete that pass. So we'll jump over to our race leaders because they're, say, you got the 14 now all over the back of the 85, and now they're going to be in lap traffic here. So this is where it's going to be really critical about how they can try to pick their way through the field. Because again, these guys aren't going to want to go a lap down. They're going to try to stay on the lead lap if they can. You see the 48 James Lever catches the wall just a little bit, able to keep it straight though. But right now, so right now you got a fight for the lead as well as them trying to hang on to this lead lap right now. It's extremely dicey. Looking up there, you see the 28 of Charles Johnson caught the wall a little bit, able to squeeze in the middle. You see they're going to try to squeeze their way between Charles Johnson and Jack Walls. They're able to make their way through. And you see some of these drivers behind them also trying to follow their way through to try to gain some of that track position as well, just through the maybe a little bit of momentum loss, if you will. So right now, say you got the 2 leaders here again, right on the back of that 85 of Brandon Clark. Again, just right now, got a mirror full of that 14. Oh, you see right there a little bit, almost a little bit of contact between John Mullins and Levi Cox there. So that's now moved, let Brandon Clark sneak away just a little bit, but now he's going to have his hands full, try to see if he can find a way around that 12 of Robert Richards. So we've already completed 32 of 100 laps here. So say we're already within under 70 to go as they run right now at Bristol. Really good start to the race for these guys. Really a handful for these guys as well to try to just manhandle these cars around this track again. With this being a short track, this is the high horsepower, low downforce package. And so these things are definitely a challenge to drive. As you see, here comes a move for the lead. 14 is going to try to see if he can get around that 85 of Brandon Clark. Doesn't quite have the momentum on exit. However, he's still right there next to him. Looks like he's going to try to run this middle groove here and then try to arc it down on the exit. So he's still not quite able to get there. So we'll have to see, maybe at some point he's going to try to maybe use that 12 Robert Richards as a pick potentially. We've seen that happen so many times here at Bristol. You see that 85 is going to try to send it in deep. Can't quite clear him. It's going to cost him some momentum. You can see right there Levi tried to see if he can get to the top side of that 85. Couldn't quite make it happen. So Brandon's going to hang on to lead Levi right behind him right now. So now Levi's going to charge to the bottom here, see if he can do anything to clear him. Can't quite do it again as they come there off of turn 4. Let's say, so right now you can see that 12 car of sorry, I gotta find all the names here again, I'm sorry. 12 Robert Richards is doing all he can to try to stay on the lead lap here, and saying again, that's just where the pace is with these cars, is you want to be on this top line. So he's doing, I could say he's just trying to keep himself on the lead lap. Nothing wrong with how he's driving this car right now. Behind them, Jim Brooks and David Adamson are trying to hang on to be the first car 1 lap down. Should a caution come out, that way they can try to get the lucky dog position. Oh, you see right there, the 85 catches the wall a little bit for Brandon Clark. Doesn't look like it hurt him too bad there. You could see though that 14 Levi Cox had to back out a little bit just because of that momentum that he had lost, and instead of that bottom line being blocked. So that's kind of what we talked about, that pick move, if you will. Just kind of worked in the other way this time. But right now, though, you can see that 14 car is really hounding the 85 here to try to see if he can get that lead. These guys are starting to use up everything they can right now. You can see that 85 starting to catch the wall a little bit off on the exit of the turns. That's definitely hurting him a little bit. Now it's going to change a little bit too, because now you've got the 12 Robert Richards trying to get around the 03, able to do, and there's that pick we just talked about. Levi Cox is going to be able to take the lead away from the 85 of Brandon Clark. And see right behind him, Jim Brooks is trying to follow them through to try to stay as the first car again, 1 lap down. That's going to be critical for getting those lucky dog positions, and so far he's been able to follow them through. But again, now he's starting to catch some more of the field here. So again, right now, back right behind again, Robert Richards, Roy Wheeler, and Maxwell Caldwell. Say they've already lapped up to the 10th position, or to the 11th position, I should say, trying to get the 10th position right now. So say we do now have the new leader there of Levi Cox taking over that lead just a lap or two ago from Brandon Clark. But I say these guys are going to have their hands full still here at Bristol. Say already 45 laps complete of the scheduled 100 distance, so next time by will be at 55 laps to go. Again, just shows you how fast things happen here at Bristol. You see a little bit of contact there between the 94 and the 12. Looks like they were able to stay straight there. Oh, as I say, that now caution has come out. I didn't see where the yellow. Oh, it looks like it actually might be with the 17. Oh yeah, you see Chad Wilkes there, Maxwell Caldwell, Brandon Clark as well. So that is going to bring our first yellow out for the evening. So we'll go back and take a quick look here and see how that all unfolded if we can. So you started right there around that 94. Let's go back a little bit here. Sorry, I missed. You see, it's like when he and the 12 got together, they lost a lot of momentum for that 94 car. And then you can see the 85 just had a huge run, got into the back of the 98, and then also wound up getting into that 94. And that's what kind of hooked them to the outside wall here. So say just, again, just how things happen so fast here at Bristol. So you see those two stuck to there. Larry Yingling just sneaks underneath, and then just nowhere for Chad Wilkes to go on his side as well. So it's just, yeah, a lot happening in a very short amount of time there. So everybody's starting to cycle through. We have pit stops going on as we speak. Oh, a really good stop there for a couple of these guys. I think, so we'll let everything cycle through. So waiting to see who cycles out where right now under this pit cycle. But it looks like that 13 of Ryan Kelly may have, oh, and I see the 14 dropping to the back. He may have had a speeding penalty. I'm not sure there. You can see him kind of fall into the back as they go right now. And then looking at the timing and scoring, I believe the 76 that Jim Brooks was able to was the one to get the lucky dog from that incident. I think he was ahead of the field when that happened. They gotta be careful there not to hit each other. As they're trying to get everybody sorted out right now. So yeah, so it looks like cycling through the pit cycle here, it's actually going to move Ryan Kelly now up into the lead there. Larry Yingling in second, Chad Wilkes third, and then Brandon Clark will be in the fourth position. So we'll let things all finish up with this pit cycle here. I have a few takers on pit road for those that were a lap down. However, we have three, it looks like, that are planning on taking the wave around to get one lap back, which is Robert Richards, David Adamson, and James Ledford. And I think we might have a few drivers also staying out to try to get maybe an additional lap back here. So already this time around, this is going to already be the halfway point in this race. Again, we talked about, let's say, I mean, they were able to run just about the half the race here under green. So we just got the one to go right here. So we're going to see the rest of the field are going to get their wave arounds here. We're going to put a few of them back on the lead level, like the 12, the 007, the 28, and the 48. And you have the rest of the field here start lining up double file. As those wave rounds come around here to get back to the back of the field. So it's going to put it into the hands here of that 13 of Ryan Kelly. Larry Yingling now up into second, Chad Wilkes in third, and then Brandon Clark will be in the fourth position. Those will be our front two rows here at Bristol. So pace car is back off. So we'll see how the 13 is able to get the restart here. It looks like this time Larry gets a really good start, and I think that's going to be a huge advantage. You can see right away that 67 just takes off on the start there. 85, Brandon Clark goes with him as well, so that's going to now move Larry Yingling into the lead. Brandon Clark in second, and I believe that's going to move Ryan Kelly, looks like, back into the third position. See, field's a little bit mixed up right now, just with some of those wave rounds. As I say, the caution's back out here. Looks like the 45 and the 28 got together there. It's Paul Patterson, and then Charles Johnson will go back here and take a quick look. Yeah, you're going to see them down on the infield here. Yeah, say 20 just got a huge head of steam, got into the back corner of that 45 car. He takes the inside wall. Saying 45 comes around and gets the wall as well there. So for those that took the wave around there to get their lap back, that's going to actually work out really well for them. That's going to get them back on the same pit cycle now while being on the lead lap. And then it looks like I just saw going around there is John Mullins. He's going to get his lap back, so that's going to give us 12 cars on the lead lap. Looks like we currently still have 18, no, possibly 17 cars. Nope, 18 cars, I believe, still in the race. Let's say we had 22 starter or 22 at the green flag at the beginning of this race. So we've had a couple retirements, unfortunately, already with Cody Cox, John Brill, and Mike Morrison. So I still see Mitchell Wilkes in the pits, so I'm not sure if he's maybe just getting a long damage repair or not on that car. Right now, he's still sitting in the pits, and he is showing us 29 laps down at the moment. So one thing this will do, though, is it'll at least get the running order a little bit more organized, again, with those wave arounds and everything under that last yellow. So we'll have the leaders here all bunched up back together the way versus last time with some of those getting EOLs and things like that. You had a lot of the lead laps kind of stuck in the middle between lap cars and lead lap cars there. So that's going to kind of get that cleared up a little bit here. Say after that, I'm assuming a speeding penalty. Levi Cox is showing in the 6th position here, so he's still right in the thick of things. So saying he's going to be on that preferred top line on this restart. And saying Jim Brooks is in 7th position, who had just got the previous wave around that last under that previous yellow. So good recovery for him as well. And yeah, so we'll let things all get sorted back out here. So while they're under yellow again at Bristol. Again, I want to thank you for joining us here at Green White Checkered TV for the Area 51 Racing League Cup Series tonight. And then we'll have a couple nights off. Then on Sunday night, we'll be back here again with the Super Speedway Series with the Cup cars. Like I said, they did get rid of that new damage model, so that will not be a concern like we saw at Talladega with those bumpers getting hooked together and everything. That's going to now be the normal pushing and drafting and bump drafting and tandeming like that we're used to seeing there. So it's nice to see that back to normal. I'll say that definitely threw a wrench into things last week. So it'll be good to see these guys go after it like normal. Alright, lights are off on the pace car. Is going to put it back into the hands now of Larry Yingling on the inside line. See on the outside though, you have the 85 of Brandon Clark, Ryan Kelly there in the 3rd position, and in 4th here you have Chad Wilkes. So wait for that green flag to fly. It's back out in the air. So again, you're going to see how this top line versus the bottom line goes. Looks like Larry's going to send it in deep there. Does a really good job of so that's going to show us that you can definitely make it happen. However, caution is back out. Looks like a big wreck there on the backstretch here. I see the 48 was involved there. Oh, 76 to Jim Brooks as well. The commentator's curse strikes again there. So you can see a whole bunch of damage missing from that car. Let's go and see what happened there on this restart here. Looks like just a bit of a stack up on the start here. Let's see if it started ahead of them or not. Yeah, you could already see there's already stuff going on in front here. Let's go back a little bit more. So I think it just may have been some tire spin on the initial start here for that 76 of Jim Brooks. Let's see. As he's getting under power here. And it looks like you can see the tires start breaking loose, and it just sends them straight into the outside wall. Nowhere for Bud Steele there to go. Same looks like Robert Richards just able to squeeze through there in the 12. We see Jack Walls as well. Looks like he's able to kind of sneak through pretty well on in that 6 car. 03 catches a little bit of a really good squeeze job there by the 94 Maxwell Caldwell to get through there. And then unfortunately behind them a few more drivers were involved in that one as well. So the 48 of James Ledford you see in there. I think I still saw John Mullins there. Looks like actually John just came to a stop there, waited for everybody to get settled there, and then got going. So that's a good heads up for him. So it's actually, I want to say that's what I try to do as well sometimes. Let's go back and let's just watch this start for him. So as they get going here.
So you're riding on board with that 64 of John Mullins here as they get going. You can see the incident happen, and immediately John just gets on the brakes. You see that track's just blocked. So you know what? I'm just going to wait, let things sort out there, and then I'll get back going again. You see the same thing with David Adamson right in front of him. So it's a really good heads up by those guys to just like, you know what, you guys get going again. You're going to have to fix damage anyway, so we'll get back going this way and then go at it one more time. Alright, so with that, so it looks like we'll try and keep an eye to see who got the laps back on that yellow. I'm showing now that we have 12 on the lead lap. We have the 83 of Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, James Ledford, and Bud Steeler, the last 4 on the lead lap. So right now we have four cars 1 lap down. You have Maxwell Caldwell, Aaron Davidson, Roy Wheeler, and David Adamson. Those 4 are still 1 lap down. You have Paul Patterson is two down, and then the 28 of Charles Johnson is 3 down. See, Charles, I know, had a green flag pit stop in that first long run before the yellow came out. So I think that's what kind of set him back. So the lights are back off on the pace car. So we saw Larry get a really good restart that last time by able to really just power it through the inside there. And so that was my concern about maybe being stuck on the bottom on the restart there, even as a leader. But it looks like you can make it work. So we'll see if he's able to do that one more time here in that 67 car. Because that's going to be critical towards the end. Again, here at Area 51 Racing League, there are up to 3 green-white checkers here. So should those come into play, which I mean at Bristol, it's always a very good possibility. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see how this restart goes for our race leader in that 67. Another good start for Larry England. Again, as you can see, he's going to rotate that bottom really well here. Going to try to slide right up and cross the nose of the 85. Just gets it done. You can see Brandon Clark try to get that momentum as fast as he could. However, not able to make it happen. So Larry's going to hang on to that lead here. Brandon Clark right behind him in second. You got Ryan Kelly in third, Chad Wilkes in fourth. And then right behind Chad Wilkes, again, we had that 14 of Levi Cox and try to see if he can rebound and try to move his way back up towards the front. You can see he gets a really good run there on the exit. However, again, that bottom side just not being the preferred line. However, it looks like that 17 is going to give a little bit. So it's a nice move there by Chad Wilkes. Going to let that 14 go. Drop Chad here back to the 5th position. However, I'll say it's going to move Levi up to 4th and saying he's still holding on to a solid top 5 position here. It's one of those things where maybe easier just let him go now and then try to fight him a little later on in case they start trying to burn their stuff up, trying to chase back to the front here. So our race leader, Larry Engling's got a mirror full of that 85 of Brandon Clark. So they will go through a lap here with that 85 car, and just so you can try to get a feel for just how fast things happen here while riding on board with this 85 car. And while we were riding on board, that 14 of Levi Cox is wasting no time. Has gotten around now the 13 of Ryan Kelly. It's going to move him up into the 3rd position. So say right now that 14 of Levi Cox is going to try to see if he can make a charge here, get back to the race leaders again. Again, he got caught up, it looks like, I believe, with a pit speeding penalty under that first caution there under the pit stops. So he's rebounded really well. Kind of got through the field as he's been able to, and then of course avoiding some of those incidents on these restarts. So I'll say right now trying to keep an eye on the lap times. That last time by he was the quickest car on the track, and then this time he's a little bit quicker than our 2 race leaders, so he's definitely closing the gap on those guys. And of course, should they start battling a little bit more, that's going to bring them that much closer, which you can see right now that 85 is still trying to figure out a way to see if he can get around that 67 of Larry Yingling. That being said, again, with this being Bristol and how fast everything happens here, this time around we're going to already have 25 laps to go. It's going to be 3/4 race distance. So we have 25 laps to go here. It's again Larry Yingling leading Brandon Clark and Levi Cox. Ryan Kelly is in the 4th position. Chad Wilkes in 5th. So while they're fighting, I want to go through the field a little bit here if I can. It's going to be tricky to do, obviously, as fast as everything happens here. However, you got Kyle Hess right now showing in the 6th position. Robert Richards, a really good recovery, up to the 7th position. Behind them, you have John Mullins. Jim Brooks there as well is in 9th, and then James Ledford rounds out our top 10 here. Then remainder of the lead lap, you have Jack Walls, and actually Jack Walls is the remainder of the lead lap. Sorry about that. So let's go back up to our race leaders here because they're still putting on a really good fight. There's so much happening so quickly, it's tough for me to try to keep up with things. So apologies if I can't quite catch everybody this broadcast. Yeah, it's definitely one to work with here. We're at 20 to go. This time around, they're landing at Bristol. Again, right now, Larry Yingling leading Brandon Clark. Levi Cox is still in the 3rd position. Looks like his progress is kind of stalled out a little bit here. May have had to use his stuff up a little bit trying to get up to them to get back to this lead pack in general. So he's had to make a handful of passes to get a shot at it. So I say he's still doing what he can. I say leaders coming around that 45 of Paul Patterson. He does a really nice thing there, just runs the bottom, lets the leaders go around on the top side, obviously the preferred line there. So definitely a nice gesture there by that 45 of Paul Patterson here. Doesn't want to play any outcome in the remainder of this race here. I'm saying right now this is really the best battle for position on track right now. Everybody else is kind of spread out just a little bit, all within maybe about a half second between each other, whereas these guys are right there, just right here, about 0.2 of a second away from each other. Again, is the battle for the lead right now as they come across the line. 15 laps to go at Bristol. So we'll have to see at some point is Brandon Clark going to try to see if he can figure out a move that he can make on that 67 Larry Yingling. Again, I'd say that bottom line is definitely not going to be the preferred line, but at some point I think he's going to have to try to make a dive underneath, but it seems like there's just so much momentum right now on that top side. You see Brandon gets a little loose there on the exit. Able to gather it back up though, and say right now Larry is holding a really steady wheel there on the top side, so it's going to be a challenge for him to try to make that pass, but at some point I'm sure he's going to try to pressure him just a little bit extra to see if maybe he can force him into that mistake. So now the advance going to start coming into play here is lap traffic. See the next car in line is that 48 of James Ledford. He is still on the lead lap, so it's hard to say if he's going to want to try to hang on to that lead lap or if he's going to let these leaders go by. So this next time around it's going to be 10 laps remaining already at Bristol. Again, just shows you how fast things are happening here. Looks like James is going to just move over to the inside. Again, really nice gesture by that 48. He's going to let these leaders just race it out here. I'd say it's really cool of them to do that. So as they come around again, so next car in line there you can see is that 83 of Jack Walls. So he's still got a little bit of distance from them, so he's going to do everything he can, of course. Obviously a little bit of a wiggle again on the throttle there by that 85 of Brandon Clark. That's definitely starting to bring kind of let Larry stretch his legs just a little bit. I'd say it's not by any means a big lead here. It's only about 3 to 4 tenths of a second. However, when you don't have that car right on your bumper, it definitely allows you to start focusing forward and not have to worry about that mirror. And then for the 3rd position, they're starting to tighten up a little bit as well. 13 of Ryan Kelly starting to chase down that 14 of Levi Cox. Chad Wilkes is starting to close the gap to them as well. Say lap times have started to slow down just a little bit. Say right now they're starting to run the high 15s, low 16s compared to the low 15s they were running earlier, so it's dropped about a second or so. I say they're going to come around this time. It's going to be 5 laps remaining at Bristol. Again, say these guys have done just an awesome job this evening, being able just to keep it green there. So they had that huge long run at the beginning of the race, almost half the race, I should say. A couple of quick little restart incidents, and then since then again, they've gone green here. So hats off to these guys. They've definitely put on a really good show right now. But you can see though, he's starting to sneak away though from that 85 of Brandon Clark here. You can see from the rear bumper there of that race leader, that 67. Starting to build that little bit of a distance there. You see him getting around that 98 of Roy Wheeler. Right now, next time around, it's going to be 2 laps remaining already. So what I'm going to try to do is, obviously right now Larry's going to be hoping that these guys can get to the white flag without any incidents, because that would then basically would end the race. However, if there was a caution before then, we would have, again, up to the 3 green, white checkers. So this is going to be what he's looking for right here off of the turn 4. That is going to be the white flag for our race leader. Larry Engling's able to stretch his gap over that 85 of Brandon Clark, so he's going to be coming around here off of turn 3 and 4. For the final time, looks like 67 of Larry Engling is going to get the win tonight at Bristol. In the second place there, you have the 85 of Brandon Clark. Levi Cox able to bring it back in 3rd, Ryan Kelly 4th, and Chad Wilkes in the 5th position. So again, shout outs to these guys. They did a really good job tonight. I mean, I'll say for it being Bristol, I mean, I honestly expected a little bit more attrition, to put it nicely there. But I'll say they did everything they needed to do here. So really good job by them. Congrats to Larry on the win here. So we'll see if we can pull up our finishers here. Our top 3 finishers, I should say. So we'll start with our pole sitter here, Levi Cox. Probably not the race he was hoping for this evening, but I mean, still able to rebound really well there. All right, so we're going to start off with our 3rd place finisher here, the number 14 of Levi Cox. I'll say definitely, first, I mean, hats off to you guys. If you had told me that you guys were going to only have the 3 cautions and run the first half of the race caution-free, I would have never believed you, but you guys did an awesome job this evening. Obviously, the initial start didn't quite go how you were hoping for, not able to get to the lead there and control it, but at the same time, you're able to chase down that 85 and then get around him while you guys were fighting that lap traffic. And it's like, obviously, I don't know everything that was going on, but I'm going to have to guess that first pit stop, unfortunately, looks like he may have had a speeding penalty.
I didn't know which pit we were supposed to go into, and I kind of turned down too late, so I missed the cone. It was an unsafe pit entrance.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, and that's another thing here with Bristol. I'll say definitely it is just another additional challenge with the way that, let's say, they have now, obviously, with the single pit road entry, but there's no like wall or anything to really designate it very early. So you had to work your way back up through the field. Of course, avoid a couple incidents on those restarts after the pit stop. I'm saying you made a really good charge there to get back up to the 3rd spot, but at that point, did you just kind of have to burn your tires off to get to 3rd at that point?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I didn't take a fast repair either, and I know I had a little bit of damage from hitting the wall, and I think I actually hit Jim Brooks a little bit under caution, just didn't see him down below me. So I don't know if that was really affecting me or not, but once I got to 3rd, I just couldn't go anywhere else, whether it was tires or the damage, so maybe I should have took a fast repair there and maybe had something, who knows.
Well, I'll say either way. I mean, again, really good recovery for yourself with the race this evening. Like I said, I'm guessing not obviously the result you're wanting to get. Obviously, starting on pole, you definitely always want to try to get the win regardless of where you start. But able to pull off the pole, get the $10 through Regal Cinema, so at least be able to put that in your pocket. But yeah, I mean, let's say, was it kind of the typical Bristol you're expecting there this evening, or was there anything that stood out different to you?
I felt like you didn't have to run the wall like completely to make speed. You could kind of enter a little lower. You kind of had to hit it up high in the center, but you could diamond it better than what I can remember it being like that, whether it was a setup or just changes in the tires for my racing or what. But I felt like you could get away with running just a little bit lower compared to what I was used to. I was expecting to just have to run right up against the wall coming into the night, but I don't know. You could definitely get some runs, and it's still hard to pass them below, but you could at least maintain and maybe try to use lap car as a pick or something like that.
Yeah, saying that we definitely saw that pound a couple times with the lap cars, kind of affecting the run of the car, trying to make that pass. To say, I know at one point that was how you were able to get that lead around that 85 of Brandon Clark, but again, say obviously not quite the night you were hoping for, but still, I mean, a really good result here at Bristol. Definitely one that you could kind of call a wild card, if you will. So I'll say before I let you go here, again, congrats on the third place finish, but I want to give you any chance for any thanks and shouts that you'd like to give for that finish tonight.
Just thank you for the broadcast. Hope you enjoyed it.
No, it was a blast to watch, and again, I was trying to keep up with everything that was happening because again, with Bristol with the 15-second lap times, it's hard to keep up sometimes here.
Yep, this 100 laps went by pretty quick. Maybe shorter tracks, maybe do 150, but then if it's a caution fest, I don't want to sit through that either. So you got to kind of take it for what it is and go on to the next one.
Yep, you're exactly right. And I mean, that's the thing is if you guys start kind of, I mean, and you've shown that plenty of times where if you guys can go green at races like this, I'm sure the admins will probably adjust things accordingly. So, again, great job of that third place run. Again, and congrats on the pole again with that Regal Cinemas pole award. And look forward to catching again soon and have another chat with you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
That was our third place finisher there, Levi Cox. So we're going to pull up now our second place finisher there, the 85 of Brandon Clark. So I got to hunt him down here. Actually, I'm not seeing Brandon at the moment, so we'll jump over to our race winner here, Bud Steele. Sorry, I was reading his name on the chat. Race winner, Larry Yingling. So again, Larry started in second position. Had a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning, but then was able to recover, get back in the swing of things, and pull off the win tonight. So let's pull in our race winner, that number 67 of Larry Yingling. Obviously had a little bit of a moment on that initial start. Guessing it was tire spin, but then able to kind of bounce back once that first caution came out. And said then you kind of did what you usually do. So you're able to get that lead and check out there once the tire started to wear a little bit.
Yeah, on the start, it gripped up, then it didn't, and I almost hit the wall. I know I hit the wall once. I think I came close to slapping it again on the right rear. Then when I was trying to pass Chad on the bottom, I got loose and I lost more positions, fell back to 8th, and just, I think the first time ever I saved more right front than everyone, and I just start mowing down the leaders before that caution. Then, luckily I restarted second, one of those restarts, and took the lead from that. And then just the final longish run, I knew it took me about 15-20 laps to really get going. I guess I saved more right front, and then start just really pull away from Brandon there.
Yeah, I was gonna say is you definitely had to hold off Brandon there on that last restart, but then it seemed like once those tires started to wear a little bit, that was really your pace really started to kick in and you started to really step away there. So I was saying you definitely weren't the only one that had that restart hiccup there. I say it did seem like everything was good, and then all of a sudden that just the grip would just kind of snap away from you. So I mean. Yeah, I mean that was definitely an exciting one to watch there, and I mean really good job for you and the rest of the drivers as well, able to go just the 3 yellows here and then have 2 really long runs at Bristol. Say again, if you had asked me at the beginning of the night with any league, I would have been like, yeah, I don't see that happening. But you guys put on a really good show this evening.
Hey, that was a great race. That only took 33 minutes. We should put 500 laps.
I don't know if I'd be up for that one. That might be a little bit much for me to try to talk the whole time. I'll lose my voice by the end of it. But no, I mean, again, really, really good job this evening. I'll say able to get your car back out front. And one thing I did notice too that you were able to do that I don't think anybody else did was on those restarts. You made that bottom line work really well through 1 and 2 to be able to get the lead. And then obviously, of course, then you have to go back to the top there. But a lot of drivers couldn't get that initial start on the bottom to work. So that was something that you were able to do as well, which I think really helped your chances there to hang on to that win tonight.
Yeah, I didn't do it today, but I know previously when I looked at the schedule and saw there was Bristol, I went back and rewatched the replay of the previous Area 51 Bristol race just to see my throttle inputs and stuff on the restart. And I'm glad that I screwed up on the initial start because that reminded me of what I had to do on each restart from there to get that traction, and it's paid off at the end.
Yeah, and it looks like after the race, let's say you're practicing your drift in there. So let's say we're kind of doing a little slow-mo of your drifts after the race there. So I'll say, however, before I let you go for after your win this evening, want to definitely give you an opportunity for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for pulling off that win this evening.
I just want to shout out my teammates this race: Maxwell Caldwell, Levi Cox, Brandon Clark, Ryan Kelly, along with Cody Cox. And thank you guys for the broadcast.
I'll say congrats on the win, Larry. Say always a pleasure to be able to chat with you. Say look forward to having another opportunity again soon. But definitely for tonight, though, enjoy that win tonight here at Bristol.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so our race winner there, Larry Yingling, in that number 67 car. So we'll say we'll go ahead and go through our results for this evening. So again, unfortunately, didn't get a chance to talk to our second place finisher, Brandon Clark, as I could not see him on Discord. Apologies for that. But again, congrats to Brandon. Also a really good run for him. Led a bunch of laps there. Just couldn't quite get around Larry there on the restart. And then Larry's pace just seemed like it really kicked off towards the end of the run there. Levi Cox able to rebound really well, come home back into that third position as we mentioned with him. Ryan Kelly, a really solid fourth place finish. Same thing for Chad Wilkes. Kyle Hess, I think, had a really good run there as well in the sixth position. Robert Richards able to recover and get a seventh position after being a lap down a little earlier in the race. Same deal for John Mullins in the eighth position, Jim Brooks in ninth, and Jack Wells in the 10th spot. So those guys all had really good recoveries after kind of having to get a lucky dog possibly, or even wave rounds to try to get back on that lead lap. Our 11th through 20th finishers here. So you have James Ledford, Maxwell Caldwell, not the light night he was looking for, unfortunately. I'll say I would mix this up if you showed me this earlier. You have David Adamson in 13th and Aaron Davidson in 14th. Roy Wheeler 15th, Paul Patterson 18th. Charles Johnson unfortunately just didn't have any luck there in the 17th position. Bud Steele was involved in that incident on one of those restart wrecks. Winds up finishing 18th. And you have Cody Cox and Mitchell Wilkes rounding out the top 20. And the final final five finishers here. You have John Brill, Mike Morrison. Say they both had to step out a little bit early. I said I don't believe Michael Spell, I'm not sure if Michael Spell took the green or not. Looks like he may have made a lap. I'm not sure. And then you have Tony Wright and Mark Rabilis rounding out the remainder of the field. So for myself with Area 51 Racing League and Green White Checkered TV, I want to thank you all for joining us here this evening at Bristol with the Area 51 Racing League Cup Series. Again, I'll say Season 5 here is going to be starting shortly. So definitely if you are interested in checking out a league, this is definitely one that would be worth looking into. They will be racing 4 nights a week. Say Tuesday nights you have the IndyCar Series. Wednesday nights is going to become the 87 cars, which obviously are a blast to drive, so I think that's going to be a really popular one to join in on. Thursday night, of course, is the Cup Series. And then on Sunday nights, you have the Cup Series at the Super Speedways. And I believe that series is actually going to, you have the option if you want to put a $25 entry fee. They will have weekly payouts as well as an overall payout for the champion of that series. However, if you don't want to be do parts of the entry fees and the payouts, you can still race and just kind of have fun, have a good time. I say it's always an exciting one to watch with those guys. So definitely take a look for them as well. Again, you can find them on Facebook or on the iRacing page. Just search for Area 51 Racing. They should come up pretty quickly here. I want to thank all the admins with the Area 51 Racing League for doing a really good job, and also really want to give a special shout out to Roy Wheeler. He's done some awesome promotional videos and graphics and everything for the league and for my broadcast as well. So Roy, I want to thank you for that. So until Sunday night, though, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And remember, if you can as well, be sure to stay home, stay safe, definitely wash your hands. And until Sunday, hope you all have a great evening and a great Friday and weekend, and see you on Sunday. All right, take care, everybody. Good night.